Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, let's go over Tesla. An absolutely unbelievable day. Definitely one for the history books, that's for sure. But yeah, let's go over Tesla. Let's go over what the hell happened today. I'll give you my thoughts as best as I can, of course, regarding the price action today. I'm not going to go over everything that happened in regards to Elon/Trump. I think, if you follow Tesla or Elon, you should probably have a pretty damn good idea. But let's just say that's probably not going to be a very good relationship anymore, to say the least. So that's that. But yeah, let's jump into it. If you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice, and I am not a financial advisor. And of course, if you enjoy my technical analysis, thoughts on the charts, etc., while I do share my thoughts with my members every single day, the market is open constantly throughout the trading day, even on a day like today, constantly sharing my thoughts with our members. Even a small little day trade that happened at the beginning before the substantial dump even started. But nonetheless, let's jump into it. So Tesla down over 14% on the day, closing at pretty much $285, we'll just say, down another 2% after hours. So today, to say the least, was a day. Today was a day. So where do I even begin, honestly? So let's just very quick recap. Like, what the hell's going on, right? Let's just talk about that. So, we were in this rising channel for quite some time, and I've been talking about, a lot of red flags emerging, right? We had the bearish divergence I've been talking about. That was the first major red flag. Then we started losing to 50. Then we started losing the 8 exponential moving average. Then we started losing the rising channel, this kind of, pretty much this trend line right here, right? And all these red flags were slowly, getting added up and added up and added up over and over and over. And hopefully, I don't know, hopefully, my videos help someone or, yeah, anyways, this is crazy, man. I am at a bit of a loss for words, I'll be honest. But the point is the fact that we broke down. And I've been mentioning for quite a while now that I want to see Tesla come down to this kind of, 300 down to like 285-ish level. And that's exactly where we are now. Obviously, I didn't predict that it would be this quickly. I did expect it to come down here. I absolutely, I've said it many times. I absolutely expect it to come down here. I'd be shocked if it didn't. I thought it'll take weeks though. I thought it'll take like 1, 2, maybe 3 weeks. I did not think it'll take pretty much 2 days. That part I did not expect. That's crazy. So, moving forward, right? What does this actually mean for Tesla stock? Well, Tesla is definitely in a very, how do I even say this? Very peculiar position right now, right? The stock at the very least in terms of momentum and whatnot. Right now, there is some good news. Believe it or not, there's actually some good news here, right? What is the good news? Also, we broke down below this. By the way, remember that the descending channel I had yesterday? Yeah, we actually opened up below that, and this is what I was telling my members about. I said that there's major resistance in the 220s, and ended up getting rejected pretty substantially, and then that's pretty much where the sell-off began. So I'm going to remove that for now. That's essentially useless. This is essentially useless. Also rejected this exact same level as well. All my members knew all this in the morning. Hey, sign up down below, guys. $3 a month. That link is down below. Tesla membership. Definitely check it out. $5, by the way, for NVIDIA. $7 for non-Tesla, non-NVIDIA. And I do chart requests on the weekend. Link is below if you're interested. If this is the time to do it, this might be the time to do it. But anyways, so the good news is this. And as crazy as it sounds, there is actually some good news still, right? Believe it or not. Hopefully you don't hear that siren outside. The good news is the fact that we're holding this range right here. This pivot point right here. I'm actually going to remove this too. We don't need it anymore. This pivot point right here. This is the most important level to me right now on Tesla stock. This sort of like pretty much like 271, 270. This is like the level. And we got pretty much right to it right here. You can see at the bottom of the day, we're pretty much back there now after hours. But this kind of 271-ish level, extremely important, right? Super important, because this to me is the pivot that ended up really bringing Tesla up to these substantially higher highs. Essentially, you can definitely make an argument that breaking this was already bad enough, but I'm willing to give it a bit more of that sort of benefit of the doubt, I guess you can say. And to me, this level is important. If we lose this level, to me, that will actually turn the daily chart to being bearish again. And this will play out my bearish scenario, which I will go talk about. I mentioned it before. I never really brought it out too much because I didn't think it would trigger, but it's very close to triggering if we lose this level, in my opinion. Again, I could be wrong. That's just my opinion. The MACD is crossing bearish. RSI is obviously pretty much plummeting into Earth's core, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But, we are still technically within this massive support or support range / demand zone, right? Because you have to remember, this area right here for a very, very long time. Honestly, you can even make an argument down to 270, but 270 to like arguably up to like this 295 range. If you really want to give it more leeway and more room, you can absolutely make an argument the fact that this was a substantial area of resistance, right? Every time we've come up here, every time we've come up into these resistances or this level, we've gotten resisted, right? The whole time. Now we're coming back down into it, right? And everyone's extremely bearish. I mean, rightfully so. I mean, the stuff that has been done today, has been said today and whatnot is like, pretty ridiculous. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty insane, crazy stuff. But the point is the fact that, you know, this was a very large area of resistance, and now, you know, does it turn into support, right? That's the major question. In my opinion, unless we lose 270/271, it should, right? Now, if we lose 270/271, that's bad, really bad. But we're not there yet. We're not there yet, right? We're not there yet. We could be, but we're not there yet. So let's see how this ultimately plays out moving forward, right? Of course, nobody knows. What else is there to say, right? That's kind of the good news, right? That's the main thing to talk about. But again, there are some issues here. Like, for instance, the MACD has turned bearish, right? You can see it turned bullish over here. And then even on these dips ended up being still bullish. And then we obviously continued grinding up higher, ultimately overall after, right? So the MACD is unfortunately back to being bearish. This is absolutely a massive falling knife right now. Maybe someone gets lucky with the snipe, but, you know, it's a massive knife. But the one thing I don't want to see is this, right? The one thing I will start getting a lot more concerned is if this recovery takes too long and these exponential moving averages essentially cross bearish like the way they did over here, or when they kind of all really start to get bullish crossovers right around here. You can see what happened after that, right? So one thing that if Tesla is still bullish, if it holds this level, what I want to see over the next, honestly, week even, right? Maybe even less, but about a week, is I want to see Tesla. I do want to see a pretty strong bounce from this general area. I don't know what will cause that at this point. Who knows? But I want to see a strong bounce from this area, essentially in time to recover the exponential moving averages before they can get a full crossover to the bearish side. So essentially, the green crossing the red is already, you know, kind of a concern, but not the worst thing in the world. But them getting below the 50, which is the white line, that's where I start having a bit of a problem. So two instances. I'll draw it out, I guess you can say. Number one is the bullish scenario. This is now support. We find some massive bidders in here, blah, 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 blah. And the stock bounces up pretty quickly and then makes its way back up to like 330 pretty quickly, which which sounds impossible, but you have to remember, if I told you even just a week ago Tesla would be down to 285 in a week, you'd also say that sounds impossible. So you have to understand, sometimes the impossible is the possible with the stock. So take it for what it's worth. But moving forward with that, I'd want to see a very strong bounce essentially before these cross bearish, right? That's very, very important. And as long as that can happen, that's good, obviously. But if there's a place for it to happen, it's right around here, man. It's got to happen sooner than later. That's like the bullish side, right? And then, yeah, and then I would actually still view the stock as being, believe it or not, bullish, because this would just be another a retest of the previous resistance, now considered demand, and then we continue higher. This is like the bullish scenario, of course. Now the bearish scenario, let's say, yeah, maybe the damage is done. Maybe Elon did a little too much today. Whatever the case may be. The bearish scenario would be that from here, we still bounce, obviously, but it's not as significant of a bounce as possible. It takes too long to get anywhere meaningfully higher, and we kind of start finding either resistance even over here, which will be like the very bearish one, or we come up to about 315 roughly, kind of up to 320. Best case scenario, but all that ends up being is essentially a bear flag, and we start bear flagging upwards pretty much into the exponential moving averages as they come into the price, and then we reject from there. They cross bearish, and we ultimately probably head substantially lower as well from that general vicinity, I guess you can say. And that, especially losing 271, 270, would be extremely bearish. So those are the things I'll personally be watching for moving forward with Tesla stock, and let's just see how it goes. I mean, at this point, when something like today happens, yeah, technical analysis is still very, very useful. Like, we bounce right at that crucial level that I actually told my members about. You can see here, if I go all the way back up around here, where is it? I think it was this one. No, where was it? I think it was this one. Tesla's still holding that 271 level. This is the most important level probably to me. This was just 37 minutes ago, and below this I will view the daily chart as being overall bearish, right? And this is right when we got to that level, you can see. So yeah, that's going to be that level to watch for, at least in my opinion. So let's see how that plays out moving forward. But yeah, pretty spicy stuff, guys. Let's see. The next few days and probably even few weeks should be very, very spicy. But I do like the fact that there's very large capitulation volume here. So there is a chance that this was a very large capitulation candle, kind of like the one that we had over here, right? Also on a volume spike. There is that possibility. I'm not fully ruling that out, but I absolutely want to see Tesla not close a daily candle below 270/271. That to me is like really bad if it does, personally. But anyways, yeah, that's all I got for you. Options flow, take a quick look. Obviously very bearish throughout the day, no surprise to anyone there, and it did end up pretty bearish as well towards the end of the day as well. So the bear, doesn't seem like they're fully done with the stock just yet. So let's see how tomorrow opens up, guys. Pretty wild stuff, but it is what it is. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Peace.